Hi everyone, it's another Monday with Mary, and today what I want to talk about is what happens when you have unfinished business with someone that you've had a relationship with. Um, sometimes I have been asked about do I ever think it's okay to go back into relationship with an ex? And I myself have done it and I had an opinion about whether it was a good idea or not prior to my experience. Um, Possibly self fulfilling or not, but my personal experience proved to be what I believe is the general truth. I have heard of some people getting back together, sometimes, years, sometimes even decades later. And it was just about them being able to come back at a place and time where they were really finally able to meet each other and be on the same page, right? And I think that's awesome. I think it's possible. But in general, what I think is that there is a reason why you broke up. And unless there is significant growth that is recognizable on both parties' parts, because obviously, if one of you does all the growing and the other one pretty much stays the same, then that's not going to fix things. Still not going to work, right? So there needs to be a significant amount of growth on both parties' sides for this to really be something that is possible for us to be able to come back to and to go back into relationship with that person and really even have a shot at being successful this second time around. So, what happens though when you have unfinished business with someone? First of all, what I will say to you is that I believe that relationships are sort of our field work for all the things that we think that we have learned and grown and healed in ourselves. And so when you have unfinished business or an unfinished lesson or an unfinished experience with someone, you can really tangibly feel that sometimes. And what I definitely believe to be true is that if you have it unfinished with that particular person, don't you worry. The universe is going to bring that back around to you and it will be with someone else. And that will keep showing up until you finish it. So don't worry about the fact that you maybe missed a lesson. And I've, just as a side note, you can ask to have that lesson played out with someone else and in an easier method. So just keep that in mind for yourselves also. But sometimes we have this real strong compulsion, like, I'm just not finished with this person. And maybe it's because you lacked in closure with them from the way that things ended. And I think that there is a way to work through it on your own. And there's also a way that you can engage them to help you complete or finish or give yourself closure to whatever it was that you feel is unfinished without recreating and going knee deep back into the same dynamic that was either unhealthy or just was undesirable for whatever reason. I think that first of all, if you can really spend some time and be able to put your finger on and pinpoint exactly what it is the unfinished lesson or the unfinished business is, this is something that you can then journal about, work through with a friend, work through in meditation, get professional help, see a therapist, come to a coach like myself, and work through once you have identified exactly what it is that is sort of the unfinished business there. I also believe that being able to define it and be really aware of it and clarify it is the number one reason. I'm sorry, got distracted. The other thing that I think is really, really important is that if you do feel like there's no other way but to go into relationship with this person again, let me rephrase that. Not go into relationship, but if you feel like you need to engage them to participate and actually help, there are some things that you want to keep in mind. You want to keep in mind good, healthy boundaries. Again, keep in mind the fact that you split up for a reason, and the fact that there's something unresolved shows that there's probably an underlying issue of that you have not cleared, that you are not going to fall back into right away again. This person may already be in another relationship, so you want to make sure that you're really respectful of that. I think that if you haven't talked for a long time and you know that they're in another relationship, the best way to approach it is not to intrude and impede on their life and to say, hey, here I am, deal with me. It's to possibly find a way to send them an email or send them a message on Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that, something that's a little more passive, and be able to say to them, this is exactly what I'm going through. I'm working through my own growth. I'm not trying to get back into your life. I'm just hoping that you can share some insights and maybe give me some closure around this or help me work with this dynamic in such a way that I'm able to move on. And then I promise I will be out of your life. These are sort of my thoughts on some ways to deal with unfinished business with a past relationship. There's so much more here, and so much of it cannot be captured in a video. So please reach out to me if you would like to work through some of this, get some support and guidance. I'm happy to help you do that. In fact, I love doing that. You can message me at facebook.com/B+1. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week.